I'm sitting in a classroom with 20 high school electronics students right now that are trying to decide between going on to a career as a technician or continuing on as an engineer. What would you say throughout your education was the most difficult part of completing your engineering degree?
Either or both, feel free.
The most difficult part of completing the degree was the question?
Yep, and I think generally guidance on should you pursue a path as a technician or an engineer, I think is what Lee is getting at.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Most difficult. I know I had difficulty in electrical engineering, as y'all probably know. There's a ton of different paths you can take. You can do circuit design, signals and waves, software, a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know if I'd call it struggled, but I kind of was on that for a while. There were a bunch of different classes I wanted to take, a bunch of different fields I was interested in. So it's kind of hard for me to decide that. I guess that's not a bad problem to have because that just means there's more open to you. But that took me a while to kind of figure out. And I did it just by taking different classes, and internships helped a lot. And just getting more experience talking to people, see what they do in their jobs, taking different lab classes, all that kind of stuff. Just trying to get exposure to as much as possible. And that's, I don't know, I guess I never really considered, kind of once I found the thing I liked, I kind of just went for it. So I kind of never really considered like technician versus engineering. But I would say you could probably also figure that out kind of by the same ways. Definitely internships again, I would highly recommend, because that definitely gives you a taste for what it's like in either career. And either way, if you like it or don't like it, both are super helpful moving forward. So that's a really good way to do that. And then again, just classes, different labs, talking to people, see what they do day to day. I thought that was super helpful. It's kind of hard to find people sometimes, but when you can, I think it's awesome to get their perspective on their job and how they got into it, and how they like it.
Okay, thank you. Brandon?
My background a little bit. I'm from Michigan. I'm born and raised in Michigan. So my uncles and my father are trades people and General Motors. So they're technicians, kind of. That's what you would call a technician. So I come from a family of that, but I'm an engineer. So I would say either path is good. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to stay more hands-on and working on things more hands-on, technician is fine and they pay well because technicians are essential to keeping all of our equipment. So I work hand in hand with and maybe it's a aerospace thing. I'm not sure about how IBM or other companies is, but I like our technicians and we work hand in hand with them in the laboratory to do testing analysis. They do analysis testing, give us their input, and they help maintain the equipment and machines. Now, and they just live in the laboratories. We have to do more PowerPoint and admin stuff and paper pushing. So sometimes, and I know the technicians, I'm pretty good friends with him actually. He doesn't really want to deal with that type of stuff. But my hardest part, I would say, I think technician is a really good field. You just have to decide what type of technician you would want to be and what fields you want to go in. I think you have things with electrical would be really good because especially with the push for EV and EV cars and things like that, you need we're going to need a lot more electrical technicians. And people can work on those electronic systems, which is going to take electronics and coding and programming probably. In terms of my struggles, I would say the hardest part was getting through the math, and that's the scariest part for most engineers. When you are, I would say the math, I'm more of a conceptual person and hands-on person. So the math was, and that's more technician leaning skill set if you want to be very direct. But the math was the hardest part, and I just had to go to tutors. I had to go to extra sessions, study with the other A students in the class to learn how to study properly. So that's what I had to do.